Comey wrote 8647 on a beach with seashells, and that's terrible. Oof, that's terrible. Oh, how can he? How could he? Oh my God. Trump behind January 6, 2021. He incited the whole thing, the whole thing where cops died, and also a MAGA lady died, which I might remember miscorrect, but I think she had a bipolar diagnosis, which I also do have. There's bipolar type 2, bipolar type 1. I have type 2. That is not so severe as bipolar type 1. But I can't help but think that there's many of those people on January 6th did have diagnosis like that. And that's why I'm, Karens and everything, people that get recorded for being awful people or racist or whatever on the streets, That's why sometimes I'm kind of, because some of them are obviously going through something, But yeah, Trump immediately when he got president again, he pardoned the January 6th people. That's great. He's on the Epstein files. He said that that wasn't Comey. Miller, Robert Miller, something like that. That Trump was glad he was dead. Trump has said in Easter that, he talked about wiping out a whole civilization. He depicted himself as Jesus, which I don't care about personally, but I know there's a lot of people who do. And Jimmy Kimmel just made a joke that was just like he did when he was literally canceled. literally taken off the air for having a joke that I remember like, what, that one? But Charlie Kirk, he says some fucking terrible shit. And I guess it's like, where does that come from? The things that, take Charlie Kirk. Where does that come from? All the, he says blacks, in urban environments have more shootings than blah, blah, blah. And there might be some statistics to support that, but it's not because they're fucking black. It's how in Norway, crime isn't high at all. We do have crime, but, most crime is about, gangs, but most deaths are from white people. But it doesn't have anything to do with the color of your fucking skin. It just has something to do with economic differences, especially I would imagine in America, where people aren't taken care of like there are here in Norway. But saying what Charlie Kirk is saying is basically saying it's because they're black, because the color of the fucking skin. And he also says like, well, we need to take back white people aren't Christian white people. They are marginalized or whatever it's called. I don't know. Marginalized? Whatever, that's the word. But as I said, it's like also Jordan Peterson. Why are you saying what you're saying? I understand you're saying what you're saying. Like it's based on something. That's the problem with it. It's based on something close to a fact. But it's not really though. Jordan Peterson, I said this before, I'll say it again. This was an interview he did on Skype. Maybe in 2020. What the fuck is he doing? maybe in 2020, I don't know. But it was a conversation about gay people adopting kids, 2 women, 2 men. And Peterson was very on the, well, you should have 1 man and a woman. A boy needs a father figure, a same-sex father figure, and girls need a mother, blah, 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 blah. And he took, there was some statistics he came up with, or told, blah, blah, blah. Statistics was right, you know, there weren't anything wrong with the statistics, except for the fact that the statistics he talked about was if there was a lonely parent, if there was just one father raising a kid or 2, or just one mother raising a kid or 2. Like if it's just one mother, they need a father figure, right? Or another parent. That is misleading as fuck, right? And that makes me think like, what are you really saying? What is the core of everything? Like Peterson, if Peterson had a button, 2 buttons, a green one that said yes, red one said no, and you asked him questions like yes or no questions, what would he push the button yes for and no for? Instead of coming up with word salad and bullshit, like, what is the core of what they're saying? Why do they say what they're saying? And Charlie Kirk was a devout Christian. And American Christianity is quite different than, you know, normal Christianity. Because American Christianity, well, they support, what is it? The Second Amendment, the gun thing. Christians should have guns, apparently. Jesus didn't turn the other cheek. Jesus was a capitalist. That the one pastor said he was fucking ripped apart by someone, but the pastor, like, Jesus was not a capitalist. He shared his wealth. I don't know, but the pastor said, like, in the end, like a zinger comeback. Well, how we know Jesus was a capitalist because he fed people, or fuck. Rob Reiner was shot and killed, and his wife. And Trump wrote that Rob Reiner had Trump derangement syndrome or whatever, that Rob Reiner basically was. He started talking about how wrong Rob Reiner were, and Trump made it about himself and everything. That's great. What, Nancy Pelosi's husband or whatever it was, with a hammer or something? That was joked about. Oh my God! Remember when Obama had a beige suit on? Wow, that's controversy. He wore a beige suit in the White House. Oh my God! Oh Lord! The hypocrisy, the fucking hypocrisy. That's a hard pill to swallow, you know. And now Erika Kirk is on her newest video blaming all the liberals and this and that for every single fucking thing. I made a video a while ago where I actually were in favor of, I supported Erika Kirk. Like, we all deal with griefs we grieve in different ways, you know. But now, yeah, it's getting weird. It's getting real weird. And her starry eyes and everything, that's just... But yeah, blaming every single fucking one of liberals and whatever, while the right is doing all these fucking terrible things and saying the most terrible things. They're dividing everyone and everything. And it's like, I saw a video of a guy who said that the people with MAGA hats should never take it off, should never be able to take the hat off. because it's like the Nazis, you know, and the Inglourious Bastards, where they scar like a swastika in their forehead. Like, we should never forget who they were at that time. It's as I said a million times before, it's not about politics anymore. It's about right and wrong. You know, right and fucking wrong. Maybe this has something to do with Norway being invaded by the Germans. That we were under fascist, white supremacist Nazi rule for 5 years. That we know right from wrong. That wasn't politics. You wouldn't call that politics, right? Taking over another country. Or do you call Russia politics? Anyway, that's my 2 cents about it. Bye.
Blacks trying to go rob her, happening all the time in urban America. Prowling blacks go around for fun to go target white people. That's a fact. Black crime is a major issue in our country. Why are you pushing criminal justice reform exactly? Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson, they're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Now, the southern border is, of course, the great replacement. They're trying to replace us demographically. They're trying to make the country less white. It is an anti-white agenda. If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Taylor Swift is now engaged to Travis Kelce. This is something that I hope will make Taylor Swift more conservative. Reject feminism. Submit to your husband, Taylor. You're not in charge. America was at its peak when we halted immigration for 40 years and we dropped our foreign-born percentage to its lowest level ever. Miss Rachel, you quote Leviticus 19, love your neighbor as yourself. The chapter before affirms God's perfect law when it comes to sexual matters. In Leviticus 18 is that thou shalt lay with another man shall be stoned to death. It's like immediately I have like a flashback to a country where weren't able to do Bud Light commercials. What does being trans even mean? Is that even a real thing? It means you need therapy. We must ban trans affirming care the entire country. I do think that there is a direct correlation between someone's testosterone and their politics. On young men, the lower their testosterone, the more likely they are to be Democratic.
So if you had a daughter and she was 10 and she got raped, and she was going to give birth and she would, and she was going to give birth and she was going to live, would you want her to go through that and carry her baby?
That's awfully graphic.
It's a real life scenario that happens to many people.
The answer is yes, the baby would be delivered. When blacks in America did not have the same rights they had today, they were less murderous, there was less break-ins. Why is that?
So I'm sorry, are you trying to say that blacks thrive under subjugation?
No, I'm not. I'm asking you the question. The data shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad, it was evil, but what happened? Something changed.